against your people, crafty, something sneaky, a plot. Read.
And consulted against your hidden ones. They have said, come and let us cut them off from being a nation.
Let us cut them off from being a nation. Hold that. Let's see what this cut off means. Hold that what you got and go to Daniel. Matter of fact, go to Isaiah 53 and 8. Isaiah 53 and verse 8. We're going to see what this cut off means. So it says, cut them off from being a nation.
The book of Isaiah, chapter 53 and verse 8. He was taken from prison and from judgment. And who shall declare his generation? For he was cut off out of the land of the living.
So cut off means to kill, to die. This was talking about Hamashiach. Means to cut off. So he was cut off out of the land of the living. Let's get one more witness. Let's get Daniel 9 and 26. Daniel 9 and 26.
The book of Daniel, chapter 9 and verse 26. And after 62 weeks shall Messiah.
Shall who?
Shall Messiah.
So this is speaking about the Messiah again. Same thing we was just reading in Isaiah 53. Read.
And after 62 weeks shall Messiah be cut off.
Shall be cut off. Again, this means to die. Now let's go back. Let's go back to Psalm 83.
The book of Psalms, chapter 83 and verse 4. They have said, come and let us cut them off from being a nation, that the name of Israel may be no more in remembrance.
Now, as far as I know, so far they haven't completely tried to wipe us out altogether yet. They've been killing in mass numbers, but from my knowledge, they haven't tried to completely wipe us out yet in no captivity. So if they haven't done that, it means it's got to still be coming. Read.
For they have consulted together with one consent. They are confederate against you.
So these people consulted together with one consent. It's a bunch of people. Read.
The tabernacles of Edom.
Of Edom. Read.
And the Ishmaelites.
Ishmaelites. Read.
Of Moab and the Hagarenes, Gebal and Ammon. And
go back to the beginning of that and break the nation down when you drop it.
The tabernacles of Edom. And we know this incorporates the so-called Europeans and, that whole conglomerate. The Ishmaelites. We know that Ishmael was the father of the so-called Arabs. Moab and the Hagarenes. Moab, they're part of the so-called Palestinians today. Hagarenes is more quote-unquote Arabs. They come from out of Abraham and Hagar's seed. Gebal and Ammon. Gebal and Ammon, they are in Palestine today, masquerading as Palestinians. Amalek, that's Esau again. The Philistines and Tyre. Philistines and Tyre are quote-unquote Africans.
Yeah, go ahead, read.
Verse 8. Asher, also Palestinians, also is joined with them. They have helped the children of Lot.
So all of these different nations are in war, are against the children of Israel. Now, again, why is this? Why do all of these people go against the children of Israel? What is it about these people? You know what I'm saying? What is it why does everybody want to destroy these people? Let's go all the way back. Let's go to Exodus 1. Exodus 1 and 7. So if you understand history, what does history do? It repeats itself. So if you don't know it, you're going to continue to repeat it. Go ahead, you can read. No, 1 and 7.
The book of Exodus, chapter 1 and verse 7. And the children of Israel were fruitful and increased abundantly.
So they was keeping the first commandment that the Most High told us, which was, be fruitful and multiply. Exactly. They was doing this. Go ahead.
And the children of Israel were fruitful and increased abundantly, and multiplied, and waxed exceeding mighty, and the land was filled with them.
It was filled with them. Read on.
Now there arose up a new king over Egypt, which knew not Joseph. And he said unto his people, behold, the people of the children of Israel are more and mightier than we.
And more and mightier. Man, there's too many of them. Read.
Come on, let us deal wisely with them.
Let us be slick with them. Read.
Lest they multiply, and it come to pass, that when there falls out any war, they join also unto our enemies, and fight against us.
Read on.
And so get them up out of the land. Therefore, they did set over them taskmasters to afflict them with their burdens.
Taskmasters to afflict them with their burdens. Watch loose, and you'll see this all taking place over again. Read.
And they built for Pharaoh treasure cities, Pithom and Ramesses. But the more they afflicted them, the more they multiplied and grew.
So all of the affliction that they were putting on our people, instead of still falling off, they still was growing. Read.
And they were grieved because of the children of Israel.
They were grieved. There's too many of them niggas in here. Read. Read.
And the Egyptians made the children of Israel to serve with rigor. And they made their lives bitter with hard bondage.
With hard bondage. So they increased it, whooping them harder, making them work from sun up till sundown. Read on.
In mortar and in brick, and in all manner of service in the field.
In the what?
And in all manner of service in the field.
Service in the field. Read.
All their service wherein they were made them serve was with rigor. And the king of Egypt spake to the Hebrew midwives, of which the name was Shiphrah.
So what is a Hebrew midwife? What's their service?
To bring babies forth.
All right. She's playing that role. Read on.
And the king of Egypt spake to the Hebrew midwives, of which the name of one was Shiphrah, and the name of the other Puah. And he said, when you do the office of a midwife to the Hebrew women, and see them upon the stools, if it be a son, you shall kill him.
Shall do what?
You shall kill him.
So they was trying to kill the men back then. It wasn't about the women at this point. Read on.
But if it be a daughter, then she shall live. But the midwives feared the Most High, and did not as the king of Egypt commanded them, but saved the men children alive.
So right here, they put a direct thing out to kill any son that was born. But the Most High intervened on this. Now let's bring it up to modern day.
High level.
One moment.
At the same time, was convicted of even non.
One moment. One moment. So this history repeating itself.
Sexual crimes, and some states began to require sterilization as a condition for
hope y'all can see this. I know y'all can hear it.
What would you say is now the #1 cause of death in the African American community?
Heart disease, HIV/AIDS,
Diabetes, cancer, AIDS.
I'll say heart disease. AIDS.
From what I heard, it's probably AIDS, you know.
Probably heart disease.
I think heart disease.
HIV, gang violence.
What if I told you the real answer was abortion?
Since 1973, legal abortion has killed more African Americans than AIDS, cancer, diabetes, heart disease, and violent crime combined. Every week, more blacks die in American abortion clinics than were killed in the entire Vietnam War. And the largest chain of abortion clinics in the United States is operated by Planned Parenthood.
We have now reached a point in this country that African American women, though they make up 12% of the population, they account for 37% of the abortions. An African American baby is almost 5 times more likely to be aborted than a white child. The abortion industry at this point kills as many African American people every 4 days as the Klan killed in 150 years. And you can truly say the most dangerous place for an African American to be is in the womb of their African American mother.
All across America, you can stand outside of the abortion clinics and see a steady stream of black women coming in and out. But somewhere along the way, we got the idea that this is a white issue or a conservative issue or a Republican issue, and therefore it's not an issue that we have to be concerned about. This same attitude has allowed Planned Parenthood and other members of the abortion industry to carry out this genocide right under our very noses. Right now, in America, about half of our babies are being killed in the womb. And in certain parts of America, more of our babies are being aborted than are being born.
When 17,000 aborted babies were found in a dumpster outside of a pathology laboratory in Los Angeles, California, some 12 to 15,000 were observed to be black. Irma Clardy Craven, Chairman, Minneapolis Commission on Human Rights and Secretary of the Urban League.
To understand what the agenda was behind the legalization of abortion, all you need to do is look at the statistics from the U.S. government. Studies from the CDC show that prior to the legalization of abortion, approximately 80% of all illegal abortions were done on white women. One study in New York even found that white women had 5 times as many abortions as black women. But at the moment abortion became legal, that began to reverse. And that's why the legalization of abortion was so crucial for the eugenics movement. Legalization created the ability to market abortion in the black community. And from a eugenics standpoint, that changed everything.
These people cannot have it both ways. First, they say that birth control will reduce the number of abortions. Then they flood our neighborhoods with birth control clinics. And what's the result? Our abortion rate skyrockets. So either they lied about the fact that birth control would reduce abortions in our neighborhoods, or this is the results and the purpose they wanted from the beginning. At this point, I truly have the tendency to believe the latter.
In 1970,